Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to talk to you about comparing just an overview of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Units.
And we did not know that much about it as we were coming up here. I knew there was a north unit, a south unit, and that was about what I knew. And so we want to talk to you about the other units first, and then we'll compare the north and the south.
Yeah. There is an Elkhorn unit. It is on a road that's really kind of iffy. If it's rained, you need to check with the weather before you start it.
Check with the rangers. Yeah, that's what their information says, that it's a non-paved road.
Steep at times.
And oftentimes you will need four-wheel drive if it's passable. And so we opted not to go to that particular unit. I told Mylene if I were going to go there, I think that's one where an equestrian ride would be, a horse ride would be a nice way to get there.
And fortunately, Theodore Roosevelt's cabin had been moved from the Elkhorn Ranch or unit
yeah,
to the South unit.
Behind the visitor center there. The other part that is not included in the North or South unit is the Painted Canyon Visitor Center. But it's really kind of cool. It is a rest stop.
Yes, it's like a regular rest area, except
it has
a visitor center.
It has a building that's manned by the National Park Service, has a little store there and everything, and it has the Theodore Roosevelt sign out in the rest stop. And so it is just east of the South unit as you're going across the interstate there. Okay, we're going to try and divide these comparisons. We're going to have the campground, we'll have wildlife, and general amenities for each one. And so let's start with the campgrounds because that's kind of a biggie here.
When we arrived at the South unit, we started at the South. When we arrived at the South, there was one campsite left, and we happened upon a park host, and he said, get there quick if you want it.
But that's because the South unit, the odd numbers are reservable, the even numbers are first come. The North unit, all of them, as of the 23 season, we're at the very end of that, but all of the campsites are first come. The South unit does have a fresh water fill for RVs.
And it has fresh water all over the park.
The North unit, something must have happened to the fresh water. There is potable water at a faucet there outside of the restroom, but the freshwater fill there by the dump station, which there is a dump station in the North, there's not in the South, even though it's a little bit larger campground in the South, but the signs are saying it's non-potable.
Yes.
So while there is a freshwater fill there, it's not fresh water. So, and that's another thing is the South unit, I believe, has 70-something campsites. The North one has 50.
Yeah.
And so one other thing that's kind of peculiar about overall, and that is the South unit is in mountain time zone, and the North unit
it's directly north of the South. You're not veering one way or the other.
But it's in the central time zone, to finish that sentence. And that's done. I looked at the state map and I could not understand why are there little X's across there. And then once the ranger said, yeah, you're in central time zone, looked, and that is the marker for central time zone. So you're in a different time zone even though you're basically in the same geographical area. Both campgrounds, most of the stuff is the same. The length of stay, generator hours, pet policies, all of those kinds of things are the same. Both campgrounds currently, the full price is $14, and if you have a senior pass, it's $7.
But one thing that's different, and it's printed in the literature, is that as of October 1st, you start the winter season. And it drops the price in the North from $7 full price to, if you have a senior pass, $3.50.
That's if they shut the water off. But the camp host told us yesterday that because there were so many people camping here, 10 or 12, that they were leaving the water on. today's October 1st, and they're leading it on.
And
So,
we're not sure about tomorrow.
but anyway, that pretty much covers the camping. Wildlife, both have bison.
Yes.
The bison in the north, it seems to me there are more bison here.
And they're closer to the roads.
Yeah, and they're a little bit more up close. Both, we saw wild turkey in both.
And we've seen more mule deer.
The one in the south, I actually did not get any video of the deer. We just saw deer once in the south, but we've seen them a couple of times here. And then in the north, we saw rabbits
Yes.
this morning. But our favorite in the south, and I mean, I got to tell you, my very favorite, the wild horses
Yes.
were absolutely amazing, and getting to see those every day. I
And they're
loved
in
that.
the south.
Yeah, they are in the south. The scenery, the scenic drive in the south, I believe, is a 28-mile, am I right? 23-mile maybe, loop. But this season, part of that is under construction, so it's not actually a loop. Whereas in the north, the scenic drive is 14 miles out, 14 miles back. And
And don't think, well, I'll be seeing the same thing. You won't, because with the buttes and stuff, you may see a lot of them on the way up, but on the way back, it's different because you're seeing the backside.
well, and the north and the south, they both have some CCC buildings, buildings that were built by the CCC. The scenery really is a little different. I mean, I know it's Badlands, but it just seems to have a little different feel to it. They're both beautiful, but I am very thankful that we added the stop in the north. It's not redundant. And it is, I believe, I'd have to look at the map, I believe it's 68 miles from the south unit to the north. There are no paved roads through there. There may be, I know that both of them, there's a way you can get to the Elkhorn unit, but I don't know, it's not from within, but anyway. But there is a little town
Yes.
for the south
Medora.
unit.
And if you need any kind of supplies, stop at the convenience store or go to Belfield on the way to the north. Stop there, because after that, you're not going to have any kind of gas, food, like that.
Yeah, the convenience store there in town it is a little convenience store with gas and a few supplies like that. But if you don't find it there at the little convenience store in Medora, it's going to be 15 miles one way or the other to either get
Yes.
back to the state line area or over to Belfield. And there's nothing like, a large store. So
Yes.
you want to come well stocked when you're
Yes.
heading this way. And the north unit, it's going to be about 60 miles to get back to where you can find. I think there was a gas station on the way up here, maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're beautiful parks, and folks, they're less crowded. Okay, it is awesome and amazing. My guess is it's going to be a little bit sticky and steamy here in the summer. But for us this time of year, it's been awesome to get those full sun sites, so that, now today's not a full sun day, but where we could keep the solar charged. But if you're coming and it's as far away from you as it is us, I strongly recommend you go on and plan a few days at each unit.
Yes.
Because I don't think you'll be disappointed. So the videos that we are going to have about the parks, this overview, then we are going to have a video about the South Unit. We're going to have, a video about the South Unit, a video about the Cottonwood Campground in the South Unit. We will have a video about the North Unit and about the Juniper Campground in the North Unit. But this is just kind of an overview to whet your appetite, and you can say, hey, I'm interested in going there, but I don't have time to do both. This may help you kind of decide where to look. The visitor centers. We want to talk about those real quickly. The visitor center in the south is a large visitor center, a large store. The historic cabin has been moved to just behind it. So we say large, I mean relatively speaking. The North Unit does have a visitor center and very knowledgeable
Yes.
staff, and both of them have stamps. One of them says South Unit and one of them says North Unit if you're looking at stamping passport books. But it's much smaller and more like in a portable kind of a building.
Yeah, and even at the Painted Canyon, which is the rest stop / visitor center, it is not as well stocked as the South.
As the South Unit. So the visitor center there is definitely a larger, but it's going to be more popular because it is right on the
Yes.
interstate. And another unique thing is both campgrounds are 5 miles in on the scenic drive, so you kind of get some scenery before you get to your campsite. One other thing we wanted to mention about the campgrounds at both the north and the south about the pull-through sites. Some of them are on the left side of the road, which means that when you pull into that pull-through site, your door is going to be
On the road.
facing the road. And the north is a really small loop, so I guess it's not that big a deal. The south is a pretty big loop, and so while some people did pull in and just drive around the wrong way, that's not recommended. But just be aware of that if that's going to bother you,
Either because of young children or pets or...
you may want to choose a different site that's going to put the door toward the campsite. We hope you've enjoyed our overview of Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers. And one other thing is, both units you're going to feel like you're in an invasion of the flies. It's just what they are. Okay.